This Mike Elias press conference is presented by your Baltimore area Toyota dealers. Better availability means better deals at your Toyota dealer. Shop now at buyatoyota.com. Now over to the GM in Dallas.
Report on the two players who you reportedly have agreements with.
I think the operative word there is reportedly, and I'm in a position in my job where I only talk about stuff after there's dry ink and press conferences and things of that nature. So unfortunately, I'm not able to address any moves that we haven't made yet.
What's your reaction to the Juan Soto signing?
Also not an official move, so my speculation will be limited here at the winter meetings, but looks like there's a lot of activity in the market. I think it's good for the sport to see a lot of teams trying to compete against one another. We got a lot of good teams right now in baseball, and this seems like it's been a very a competitive bull market, and it's been moving fast, and it's keeping us on our toes, but I think it's good to see the excitement for the sport, and especially around this event.
Have you been surprised about the way that the market's been? You used the word as a bull market, and it is moving quickly. Last year it was quite different. It was slower at the beginning, and it took a lot of the top players a while to sign. Have you been surprised the way that the market has shaped up so far this offseason?
No, wasn't surprised at all. I think one of the main things that stands out to me this year is we don't have that many teams right now that are announcing that they're in a rebuilding mode. So there are a lot of teams going for it at the same time, and that ratchets up demand quite a bit. And I think we're seeing some fast moves so far.
Now that you've seen how the starting pitching market's developing, Snell signing and some other report moves, what's your level of confidence that you still might be able to get a top-end starter that you're able to shop in that area of the market?
I'm very confident shopping in it, and we have been, we continue to be, but the competition's enormous, and last year we were able to figure out a way to get a top of the rotation starter. I don't think that's something that all 30 teams pull off every year, but we're all trying. So I'm gonna do my best to figure it out, and we'll make sure we have a really good team at the end of this off season, and I think that's the main goal here.
Are you looking primarily in free agency or trade market, or any avenue kind of get that starter?
All of the above. Like I said, there aren't too many teams making their major league players available for prospects right now. So those that are, we're deeply engaged with those teams. Those that aren't in that mode, we're exploring more kind of major league for major league kind of trades, which obviously take unique fits on the rosters.
Do you feel like you need a number one like you did last year when you went out and got Burns, or do you feel like you guys have, Eflin and Rodriguez, and you can get a mid to end of rotation type of starter?
I like where the rotation's starting from this year, but we're trying to augment it, trying to supplement it, trying to fortify it, and we're doing that both through free agency and trade, exploring those avenues.
You've had gone for guys in the past that have eaten a lot of innings, like Jordan Lyles and Kyle Gibson. Is that also a priority, or are you thinking more top end of the rotation, maybe take a higher risk on somebody who maybe has a longer injury history, but may has a higher ceiling than somebody who is going to be in there just mostly to eat innings?
I think all those options are on the table, and there's aspects of innings that are appealing, and then there are, as you mentioned, there's always players that don't have a demonstrated track record of that type of bulk recently, that maybe have some more talent upside, or the appearance of more talent upside because of who they were in the past, or coming off of an injury or something like that. So we've got all those options on the board, and having all those conversations, and just kind of looking for the right deals.
You do have a pretty solid starting pitching depth, but is it possible that you guys would sign multiple starting pitchers or acquire multiple starting pitchers, or are you really just looking for one guy?
No, I think it is possible. Yeah, there's scenarios where I can see that happening, but no guarantees.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, David Rubenstein gave an interview where he said that because of his age, he felt like he had to speed up the effort to get to the World Series. Has he expressed that to you, that getting to a World Series quickly is a priority?
He's extremely energetic. He wants the best for. Excuse me.
Probably him.
Yeah. Next best thing. He's extremely passionate about making this franchise as good as it can be. We're in a really good mode right now. We're coming off of back-to-back playoff years, so we have a really good chance over the next few years, we think, to continue to be a playoff team. And with that, we hope deep playoff runs are part of it. He wants to do everything we can do within our power and within our skill set to approach that correctly. And there's measurement to how you go about this business. There's give and take. You can't do everything that you want to do all the time in a lot of cases. So we're working together to figure out what the right recipe is. But the support from him and his group for our baseball operations department and just for investing in the franchise is as good as it can be. It's excellent.
There are a couple of certain pitchers out there who got qualifying offers and have the draft pick attached to them. Would you try to stay away from a guy like that?
No, we're in on everybody. I mean, we're talking to everybody. When there's aspects of the rules that create wrinkles, you've got to weigh them. So we do that, but there is no player that we're not interested in or pursuing in some shape or fashion if we feel like the talent is additive to the current roster that we have.
Because of this organization's philosophies and the way that you guys have successfully drafted, when it comes to weighting, and I know you won't speculate on how other organizations would weight things, but would you say that you guys might weight a draft pick like that or losing it more than other organizations?
I don't know about that. I mean, we do have a record of drafting well, but we're humble about how hard the draft is, and I think the happenstance of where these picks are for us, they're high. I think they're comp level picks that we're talking about if we sign a qualified player, but we can accommodate that in the right deal for sure.
Without Jacob Webb and Danny Kudal, are you looking aggressively to get one or two veteran pitchers to augment the bullpen you have?
Yeah, we're I could see scenarios where we acquire more relievers, including the guys you named. We've got the whole pitching market up on the board, and we're just trying to find a place where we can find a deal and we can strike.
When it comes to those two guys, Webb and Coulomb, how much of their injury history, specifically the elbow injuries that they dealt with in 24, how much of that was a factor in not bringing them back for 25?
Well, there's all kinds of talent evaluation that goes into decisions that we make. There's economic decisions, there's roster construction decisions. Every baseball move that we make is a combination of a number of factors. There's other players that might be competing for spots. There's just so much of it. Those guys are great pitchers. They're healthy. They're a big part of our past success, but a part of being a front office or a general manager. These rosters are dynamic. You have to think about what's ahead, and you're not able to keep every player that you like at all times at any cost. And so we have to do a balancing act when we're curating our roster, and sometimes that involves making tough decisions much earlier in the off season that you would like to, when you don't have a full picture of what's going to happen. You don't have a crystal ball, and you have to make some decisions early in the off season, but it doesn't close the door.
What made Cody Ashley the right guy to be the new hitting coach? What do you like just about the coaching staff being assembled for next year?
Yeah, very excited about the staff and to have that announced. Cody has been a successful member of our hitting department starting in the minor leagues, helped develop a lot of these young position players that we have that are forming the backbone of our team, and then made a really good transition to being a major league coach. And he was a little bit in the background of our hitting group, just given his job duties and the title that he had. But was right there in the thick of things with all of our hitting guys. And this is as I've said, this is a group. I know we slumped in the second half, but this is a group of hitting coaches that by and large has had a lot of success. And we've had an enormous level of demand for hiring coaches away from us. He's somebody that we've valued really highly and have continued to promote, and I think this is a huge opportunity for him. And he's a former major league player too, so he knows what it's all about. Just a good blend of skills, and our players really like and respect him.
When you spoke to us about the wall a few weeks ago, you spoke very highly of Jorge Mateo. Are you looking at him more as a utility player, somebody who will play more outfield next year, or what are your plans for?
Well, I think a lot of that depends on what the roster looks like. The offseason is nowhere close to being over. There's things that could influence that in one direction or another, but a big part of his value is he's a plus defender in the infield and in the outfield. And now that we have some more young infielders join in the mix, it gives us an opportunity to utilize his outfield play, perhaps. That's something that we'll sit down with him and talk about at spring training once we have a full roster picture. But he's really good at it, and that's part of what makes him so exciting, is this ability to plug and play him in so many different areas, and then have him be an above average defender in those areas. But there are also many scenarios where, just as he has been, he's getting a lion's share of reps around the infield and is one of our primary infielders too. So that's what versatility brings you, is it gets you in the lineup, because it you're able to get in there in all kinds of scenarios, and so we just have to see what the whole context looks like.
I know you can't comment on a player specifically, but let's say theoretically there was a player being posted. What would your pitch to somebody like that be, given the fact that there's all 30 teams have the ability to sign that guy? Is there a specific pitch that you think for players like that, or really any free agent, hey, this is why you should come here?
Winning team, great defense, young athletic defense, great fan base, great ballpark. We've got an exciting window ahead of us, I believe, with this group of players and with our ownership group and the people that we have running the organization. And we have good pitching development, and we use the best technology and the best resources to keep our players healthy and make them better. And I think it's as good as an organization as any to develop yourself, but have a great chance to win. And also, you're in a big stage in the American League East, and there's something exciting about that, something special about the American League East.
You also can't speak specifically about anything hypothetical, but James McCann last year played between 60 and 70 games. For any backup catcher for Adley, is that the kind of range you're looking for somebody to be playing? And is there kind of a number that you have in mind of how much time you want to give Adley off in 2025?
I think he's been up for 2 years and 75% of another year or something like that. And so I think that's a pretty good body of work to show where both he and we kind of see the sweet spot of his catching time. And then obviously he's doing a lot of DHing when he's not catching, so that counts as something that you need some rest from too. So I think looking back is a good indicator of what we like for him going forward. But definitely don't plan to have him catch all 162 games.
Deferrals are nothing new. Teams have been doing them for a long time, but they seem to be a bit more dramatic nowadays. Way for teams to kind of really build their roster up, immediately and kind of deal with the payment later. Is that something you would see the Orioles doing if needed to get a player in?
I hadn't put any thought into that. I don't really have much of an answer for you. It hasn't been something that we've had to consider, and it's something that I would assume involves a lot of people other than me to weigh in on. But I guess we would cross that bridge when we come to it.
When you see other teams doing that, like the Dodgers in particular have been doing it a lot. Other teams have done it as well. What do you think of when they do it?
I think it's hard to make deals in this business, and any lever that both sides willfully agree on to make a deal work for both sides is it's good business.
You've seen kind of the downside at times when you first took over of deferred money, especially with contracts that were signed previous. Is that something that you think could also hamper a team going forward if the contract doesn't work out, or the money doesn't come in as much as the team may expect in the future?
Yeah, I think there's pluses and minuses to everything that you do, and those are considerations that are made by management, and they probably weren't done at the time without reason, and it's all a balancing act. Thanks, guys.